Presented by the all-new 2017 Honda CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest. Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Honda CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest van yet.
Lots of Jays fans here in Chicago, and yesterday there was 41,000 fans, and a lot of them were Blue Jay fans. And once again, the same is true this afternoon. A gorgeous afternoon. Blue Jay fans have been here since early in the morning, Pat, and it's a raucous atmosphere for sure.
I tell you, I got to hand it to the Jays fans. They come down, they get to the ballpark here, they stay late. We went out to the team bus last night. There were these Blue Jay fans everywhere around the team bus yesterday. And what a stirring rendition today of the national anthem, the Canadian anthem. Everybody was singing. I'll tell you what a day for baseball. I think the game is going to be fantastic.
The Cubs won the opener of this three-game series 7-4. Blue Jays made it interesting with 3 runs in the 8th, but that's the closest they got at 5-4. Take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays here this afternoon. Jose Bautista, top of the order. Then Josh Donaldson. And Donaldson, his career numbers against the starter, Jose Quintana, 6 for 13 with a double, a home run, and an RBI. And Josh is hitting .500 over his last 6 ball games. Kevin Pillar, his last 5 games, he's been very productive, including 2 doubles yesterday and an RBI. Hopefully, that'll be part of a winning effort here this afternoon as they face Jose Quintana for the 10th time in their career.
Jose making his 25th start of the season and his 7th for the Cubs. Remember, he came over from the White Sox for 4 minor leaguers. That was in the middle of June. Overall this season, he's 7-10 with a .433 earned run average. 5 seasons with the White Sox, he had a losing record but an outstanding earned run average. He was the king of the no decision when he was with the Chicago White Sox. He'd throw a beautiful ball game. They wouldn't score many runs or they'd blow the game for him. But he's got a good arm. He had a good first game for this team after they traded for him. He's been a little bit inconsistent since then. He's the 3rd pitcher to start a game for both Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox in the same seasons. And I'll tell you, been a little bit hot, if not inconsistent, just 5 innings in his last start, but that's 13 straight starts now with 6 or fewer hits given up by Quintana.
Defense in center field. John Jay gets the start. Kyle Schwarber did not play yesterday. He's in left field. And on the infield, Javier Baez, he put on a show with the bat and with the glove yesterday.
Everybody today, this morning, was still talking about that play he made in the 9th inning against Jose Bautista, taking away a base hit. Yeah, he's got 14 errors. He gets a little careless sometimes on the routine ball, but we saw his athleticism on the bases with the bat and then defensively. Take a look how quickly he gets to this ball and catches it behind him and then flips the ball. So he showed off a great arm. He showed off his athleticism, hand-eye coordination. They were still talking about it this morning when we got to the ballpark.
Tremendous athletic skills at shortstop. Baez has been filling in at shortstop with Addison Russell on the disabled list. But he is a terrific young player, one of many the Cubs have in this lineup. Well, you want a picture-perfect day for baseball. That's what you've got here on this Saturday afternoon in Chicago. Nothing like it, folks. Jose Quintana set to face Jose Bautista. Bautista yesterday had an infield single. He was 1 for 5. Quintana has the sign from Alex Avila. He is set. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway.
One of the things, as you take a look at Bautista's numbers, I think important for Quintana, can he get that fastball into some of these right-handed batters that the Blue Jays will throw up there?
Another fastball. He's quickly ahead 0-2. Avila catching Quintana for the second straight start. Wilson Contreras had caught him in the other starts. They picked up a veteran in Avila, and they picked up another veteran today in Rene Rivera, another backup catcher that added to their veteran depth. Upstairs, 1-2.
When you watch Quintana, he reminds me a little bit of Jay Happ, because he's going to challenge you with a fastball. He'll use that and he'll move it around the strike zone, up and down, in and out. Fastballs in again, going to be very important. Looks like they're going to try and go back in against Bautista.
Breaking ball in the dirt. That's the key pitch that has not been as consistent for Quintana since his first start as a Cub.
Yeah, Joe Madden was talking about that today, saying he had never seen his breaking ball better when he got a look at him on his first start. He had 12 strikeouts against the Baltimore Orioles. But since then, Joe said that the breaking ball has been a little bit inconsistent for him.
Fastball lined into the seats, foul. Quintana is only the second pitcher in baseball history to record consecutive double-digit strikeout efforts for 2 different teams. The other, also a lefty, Randy Johnson, did it for Seattle and then Houston in 1998. Same scenario, midseason trade. Joe West calls Bautista out on that inside fastball. There's that fastball strike inside you were talking about. Let's take a look at the trade, and Jose Quintana heard all the trade rumor talk, and he was concerned about being traded away from Chicago, but he got his wishes when he came to the Cubs.
He didn't have to go too far, did he? From the south side to the north side. His numbers with the White Sox not very good. The team was 10-8 in his 18 starts. With Chicago, the numbers are a little bit better, but he can't get the winning side of it. Just 3-3 the team is. They gave up 4 big prospects to get Quintana. And one of the reasons why is he's got a very team-friendly contract. They said they love this guy. They needed a starting pitcher. He's got that contract that he's going to be around for a while, so they gave up a lot to get him.
Josh Donaldson. It's a high fly ball into shallow left. Baez, the shortstop, looking straight up into that bright sun, makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Quintana here in the first. Beautiful afternoon, as we mentioned, and the weather has been spectacular all weekend. I tell you what, this town is a buzz. There's the great water and air show going on shores of Lake Michigan, just a couple of miles from here, and you're going to hear the Jets throughout the course of the afternoon. That's going on. There's plenty of music concerts going on, and you got a ball game here at Wrigley.
My band is in town. Jethro Tull is in town performing tonight.
Bruno Mars is here. Jethro Tull's in town. The Blue Jays are here. What more can you ask for? Justin Smoke, a .297 hitter. Boy, Smoke had a good day at the plate yesterday. a double, a single, and he hit a rocket to second base. He was 2 for 4. Popped this one up.
Well, what's impressive with Smokey this year is he never gets too high and he never gets too low. He's the same guy every day when he comes to the ballpark. So he puts his work in, he has his plan, figures out what he wants to do, and then just goes out there and does it. For him, he's an everyday player. If he takes an offer, big deal. He's going to be back in there the next day.
Strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes to Justin Smoke. Quintana has a career ERA against the Blue Jays of 1.77. That ERA since 2012 is the best in the majors against Toronto by almost a full run. The next best ERA held by Masahiro Tanaka of the Yankees, 2.62. To show you how dominant that Quintana has been against the Blue Jays.
Dominant because he throws strikes, he attacks them. He is 6-2 in his career, like that number showed you. Just 9 starts. This is his 10th start in his career versus the Blue Jays.
One and 2 pitch. Inside corner again. Quintana twice in this inning. Catches that inside corner with the fastball. Joe West, a couple of words for Smoke. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 top half of the first. Chicago Cubs. He has turned the fortunes around of this franchise here in Chicago, and he was named the National League Manager of the Year in 2015. Let's take a look at his lineup. A couple of changes in the lineup. John Jay is in center leading off. In the 2 spot, Kyle Schwarber. Look at what he's done against the American League this year. 12 for 43, 8 extra base hits and 8 RBIs. He's in left field. And Javi Baez, we mentioned his home run yesterday. That was his 20th home run of the season. And over his last 8 games, that has been what he's doing. A double, 4 homers, and 10 RBIs over the last 8 games.
So be careful when you face him. They will go up against Nick Tepesch. Nick getting ready for his 4th start of the season. This will be his 3rd appearance as a Blue Jays. 44th career start, 47th appearance, 5th appearance since 2014. Tepesch was very good in his last start. That was against Tampa Bay, 6 innings. He only gave up the 1 earned run. That was his first win since September of 2014. He had good control. He was able to pound the ball inside against the right-handers, got the breaking ball out over the plate. It's got to be that same way today against this Cub team.
First pitch, strike to John Jay. Jay did not play in the game yesterday. He is starting in center field today. Up and away, ball on the strike.
Jay has been put into that leadoff spot. You can see in 103 games he's hitting .290. For his last 8 in his last 2 starts.
John Jay, 32 years old. He signed as a free agent here. He has played in St. Louis. That was his initial ball club. Last year he spent the season with the Padres. It gives them the ability to platoon with Albert Almora Jr. in center field. They weren't really sure what Almora was going to do, but now I think they understand he's a pretty good player. And he's probably going to play every day next year. Joe West calls that strike. Full countdown. Joe Madden's got some interchangeable parts in this roster, and there's ball four. Tepesh walks the leadoff man. Defensively, the Blue Jays, regular outfield of Pierce, Pilar, and Bautista. Barney and Refsnyder up the middle. Donaldson and Smoke at the corners, and Rafi Lopez behind the plate.
That's where it started for Darwin right here. He'll get the start today with the lefty on the mound at shortstop. Just his 5th start at shortstop this season. Former Cub, he knows this field as well as anybody. Look at him taking charge right now, telling the infielders where he wants the ball on the double play. Also keeping an eye on Luis Rivera, who's making him go a little bit more to his left, and now he's letting everybody know.
Kyle Schwarber, the left fielder. Schwarber is just 24 years old. One of 4 Cubs 25 years or younger with 20 home runs. That ties a franchise record. Upstairs. Rafi Lopez not going to waste any more time. He's going out to the mound to try to coax Tepesh into the strike zone. Leadoff walk to John Jay.
Rafi caught him in his last game, and the game plan was to pitch inside, especially to the right hitters, not down and in, but up and in, and it was successful. Right now, Nick's having trouble finding that glove.
See what kind of adjustments they have made now as Tepesh is set. And there's another pitch up and away.
Just getting underneath that ball. The lower half is a little bit faster right now than his upper half. So he's a little bit out of sync, and the arm is dragging just a bit. And that's why you see so many balls up and away to these left-handed hitters.
Joe West with a late strike call. Joe West, one of 3 major league umpires to call 5,000 games in his career. Popped up. Donaldson trying to get an angle on it. Now going back towards shortstop, makes the catch, and it was a sky-high pop-up that Schwarber's retired on.
You know what we're going to have to keep an eye on today? The flags. They are a lot different than they were yesterday. They were yesterday blowing from the left field foul line to the right field foul line. Today, blowing straight in from center field, and that pop-up from Schwarber started over the second base bag and drifted towards shortstop.
It's one of the first things the ball players do when they get to the park. They check out those flags to get an indication. The hitters want to know if the ball's going to fly. The pitchers want to see those flags blowing in.
Like they are today.
This is Chris Bryant. Bryant has reached safely in 15 straight games.
I played with Bill Buckner here, and Bucks used to say, hey, get up in the morning and he'd get to the ballpark, because they played all day games then. And the first thing he did was check that center field flag. Let me know what the wind is doing.
Pulled foul. Fish quickly ahead of Chris Bryant. Bryant yesterday 1 for 5. He had a double and scored in the 5th inning. He has doubled the 26th double of the season for Bryant. He has been the Rookie of the Year and an MVP. Back-to-back seasons. Terrific start for Bryant.
Just starting to get hot and up and down this season for him. Wilson Contreras goes on the DL. They need somebody to step up. Bryant has been really raking lately.
That hit him. So Tepesh gets one too far inside. There are 2 base runners on. John Jay moves to second. He walked, and now Bryant goes to first on the hit batter.
That's the pitch that they had success against Tampa Bay. He throws a sinker, but he makes it sink, but they want it up. He broke a lot of bats against Tampa Bay. Here comes that 2-seamer, and it's up above the belt. Problem is, Chris Bryant is right on top of the plate. He's got that elbow guard right there hanging out over home plate, and he just gets nicked with it.
So here is Anthony Rizzo, and you talk about a hot batter. Rizzo is hitting 5 straight, 11 for his last 21, and he's driven in 12 runs. Rizzo had the big double in the 5th inning, part of that big rally in the 5th when the Cubs scored 2 runs on 3 hits. He got the big hit, a 1-out, 2-run single to left.
He's just a good RBI man, and he got those hits going the other way.
In case you're unaware, the Blue Jays made a roster change today. T.J. House, the left-hander, he has been starting in Buffalo. He is in the bullpen. With that, Tim Meza was optioned back to AAA Buffalo. House is here should something happen early with Tepish. House certainly has the ability to give John Gibbons multiple innings, having started in Buffalo.
Yeah, he was scratched from his start last night, and then they brought him here, put him in the pen. If Nick can't go very deep, or it's a quick hook this afternoon, they've got some length down in that bullpen.
There's a strike. Boy, Tepish hasn't been able to get anything down, and everything is off the plate to the lefty hitters.
Try throwing a breaking ball. That'll help you get your arm on top of that ball. Get that hand on top of the ball if you try and throw a breaking ball.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, obviously doesn't know an awful lot about Tepish in his delivery. Same pitch, same spot, foul straight back. Well, the Cubs have been prolific in putting up runs in the second half of the season. They've scored 188 runs since the All-Star break. They have been terrific. They're also in a very favorable stretch of their schedule. 13 straight games they're playing last place teams. They will not play a team with a winning record until September 8th when they take on the Brewers. So they've got some time to make up some hay and put a little distance between themselves and the rest of the division.
And this is a team that has been built for a sprint to the finish. With their pitching, they've got Lester on the disabled list, and they're getting some of the regulars back.
Another walk. 2 walks and a hit matter. 1 out, the bases are loaded. Chicago threatening early to get on the board.
They haven't put the ball in play yet. They are taking advantage of the wildness from Nick Tepish. Actually, he's going to have to make the adjustment and get in that strike zone.
Well, we mentioned how hot the Cubs have been since the All-Star break, and you can see they were hitting just .239. They've hit 40 points better, and their runs per game is up dramatically. OPS, and how about the at-bats per home run? They have been pounding out some homers lately.
Any team with Schwarber, Bryant, Rizzo, Happ right in the middle, young players, young everyday players with star potential who can knock them out of the ballpark, you got to be able to score some runs.
The Cubs have won 4 of their last 6 games. They've scored 47 runs and hit 14 home runs in those 6 games. First pitch swinging. Bautista can't make the play. 1 run is in to score. They're going to stop Bryant at third as Ian Happ jumped on that first pitch and drilled a sinking liner to right. Bautista got a glove on him but couldn't make the catch.
And it looked like it got knocked down by the wind. Remember, it's blowing in from right field. Happ doesn't waste any time, rips that first pitch. Some good base running by the Cubs. They just move up 90 feet. Here's the pitch, the swing, and it gets knocked down, and Bautista can't come up with it. Doesn't go very far. But Bryant wasn't really sure if he was going to make the catch, so he had to kind of hang around second base. But the impressive base running for me was Anthony Rizzo, the runner at first base. He was running with his head up the whole time and picking up his third base coach. He didn't want to run Bryant off of third base if they held him.
So Happ, after striking out 4 times yesterday, gets a hit in his first at bat and drives in the first run of the ball game.
Leadoff walks. Another one today, leading to a run.
Alex Avila, the veteran catcher, hits it on the ground. Ref Snyder, second for 1, a high throw. What a play by Barney. Oh, Darwin Barney really extended. The Cubs are going to question whether or not he maintained contact with the bag at second. They're going to have a look at the replay. And it looks like Madden wants to look at it. Everything is good. He said no replay. The inning is over. Darwin Barney made a terrific effort to take that high throw from Refsnyder and closes out the Cubs. Refsnyder throws high. Barney keeps his foot on the base long enough to get the force and then goes to first to end the inning.
My Blue Jays members log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ8765 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. Code must be entered by 4 a.m. Joe West behind the plate today, his first series back since being suspended 3 games for his comment calling Adrian Beltre a whiner. See that white tape on the left wrist of the umpires? Well, that's a protest the umps have to the commissioner's office for not supporting umpires enough. Many upset that West was disciplined, his union brethren backing the veteran umpire behind the plate today. Buck?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting suspension indeed, as a veteran umpire, Joe West, was suspended for comments he made to Adrian Beltre, also a veteran player. And all the time, you've done this, I've done this, we did it our whole careers, bantering back and forth with umpires.
Having some fun with them. Sounds like they were just having some fun. And I think Joe was talking about it to the media, and it got out, and his union didn't like what was said. I thought it was harmless.
Steve Pearce with a 1-1 count. Fair ball. Past Bryant down the left field line. Pearce is headed for second. Schwarber's throw is a good one, but not in time. Is out. The second baseman can handle it. Pearce slides in with a leadoff double.
Well, Steve Pearce has been swinging the bat for the Blue Jays. He's been hitting the ball the other way when he needs to. Yesterday he got a couple of hits to right field. This time he's going to pull that ball on the inner half. Now he knows he's got to hustle. He plays left field here, and this ball can hit off the bricks right back to the outfielder. So he's got to hustle. Schwarber gets over, bare hands it. But Pearce is going to beat the throw with that good hustle out of the box.
12th double of the season for Pearce. His 6th career hit against Quintana in 12 at-bats. Kevin Pillar with a couple of doubles yesterday. Chris Bryant, a very athletic play at third. He got a glove on it and knocked it straight in the air and grabbed it with his bare hand.
He's 6'5", so you got to really elevate the ball to get it over his head with some long reach. Pillar hits it on the button. Watch this. It looks like another double for Pillar, but up goes Bryant. Now pops out of his glove. How about this for some concentration?
Just tip it to yourself. You got a glove on it, and he's focused and stays right on it. It comes right down. He grabs it with the bare hand. 1 out. Here's Darwin Barney, the former Cub. That's on the first pitch. Barney's pretty pumped up to come back here to Wrigley Field. Of course, his fond memories of playing here. He won a Gold Glove here in 2002 while playing second base. Ground ball. Bryant dives, gets up and fires wild at first. Pierce will go to third base on the air. So Bryant, committing his 13th error of the season, allows runners at first and third here with one out.
Tough to get it by him, but he had a lot more time than he thought. He goes up to take a hit away from Pilar. This time he's going to go to his left. There's the reach again, and he comes up firing, and he's way off mark. Barney's going to be safe at first base. Pierce is going to be able to go from second to third. Good arm, not too accurate on that one.
So Bryant, that's their number 12 for the third baseman. Blue Jays with Rafi Lopez, also a former Cub. Lopez just 3 for 34 in his career, but he's got a chance to get the Blue Jays right back even in this game.
He's an ex-Cub. He knows all about hitting in this ballpark.
Got his first big league hit against Clayton Kershaw. Lefty on lefty. He also had a sacrifice fly in his previous at bat to that first hit. It was back in 2014. So when Clayton Kershaw goes into the Hall of Fame, Rafi Lopez can tell his grandkids, hey, my first hit was against Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, and it wasn't a little broken bat blooper or an infield hit. It was a line drive base hit over the second baseman's head. He was talking about that the other day. Wow, Clayton Kershaw, pretty impressive.
There goes the runner, check swing, and Lopez strikes out. No contact as Avila blocked the ball in the dirt. Barney goes to second. And there's the first of many Jets you're going to see this afternoon during the air show not far from Wrigley Field. So Lopez is down, and they're going to walk Refsnyder intentionally. So that will bring to the plate Nick Tepesch.
National League, you always got to be thinking one step ahead, knowing where that pitcher spot is. Blue Jays send the runner, Barney, so that opens up first base after the strikeout. So why even let Snyder have a shot at swinging the bat? Make Nick Tepesch beat you.
Tepesch 1 for 6 as a hitter. He had a hit back in 2014 while playing with the Texas Rangers. Why not Nick swinging? He took a big hack on that first pitch.
Saw Nick hitting the other day at Rogers Center. Looks like he can handle that bat. Said he hit in high school.
Nick got his hit at Citi Field in 2014, as we mentioned. Started in that game. He was 1 for 2. So he's got a big league hit. Oh, and 2. He fouls it off. Well, Blue Jays get a leadoff double from Pierce. He is now at third base. The bases are loaded with pitcher hitting. But nothing Cubs. Ian Happ with the RBI single. Quintana strikes out the pitcher. His 4th strikeout already. And the Cubs have a 1-0 lead.
this afternoon. You know, so often in professional sports, when a player gets injured, especially lost for the season, they may be gone and forgotten. Well, not Troy Tulowitzki. It was late last month, of course, that Tulowitzki was injured with the ankle, and his teammates are keeping tabs. Ryan Goins, for instance, speaks with him daily. And then this morning in the visitors' clubhouse here at Wrigley, with almost everybody sitting around eating breakfast, Josh Donaldson dialed up Tulowitzki on FaceTime. Troy's face popped up, and Donaldson yelled, "It took 3 years before they finally found a real shortstop around here. Me." Tulo, without skipping a beat, replied, "How many home runs does my bat have?" The phone got passed around. Everyone said their hellos to Tulowitzki, who still has a cast on, by the way. And it was Marcus Stroman who told him, "We're holding it down for you, my guy." Gone, but not forgotten, Mr. Tulowitzki, Buck.
Absolutely. Anytime you're a big part of a team like Troy is with this Blue Jays ball club, all the players think about him all the time, and they got a chance to call him and say hello. I tell you what, having gone through that myself with a season-ending injury in July, it's good to hear from your teammates.
Donaldson doesn't miss a trick, does he?
Finally found the shortstop.
The backstory of that is Josh played shortstop yesterday for a couple of innings after the Blue Jays made a bunch of moves for their team. Donaldson played shortstop, so he couldn't wait to tell Tulowitzki that, huh?
So it'll be 7, 8, 9, the bottom three for the Cubs here. Jason Hayward, Javi Baez, and then the pitcher's spot. Hayward gets jammed and fouls it off. Hayward had an infield hit yesterday, scored a couple of runs. He finished up 1 for 4 in that ball game.
He's got a lot of movement in his swing. He's made a lot of dramatic adjustments this season to try and get him on board. He's lowered his hands a little bit, level out his bat, but he's still a little bit late on fastballs. He's got a lot of movement. You see, he starts in a crouch and then he stands up and his hands are moving. He just can't catch it out in front.
This is a little looper. Barney out and can't make the play. Pilar's there to back him up, and Hayward has a bloop single. That starts the second for the Cubs.
He gets beat with a fastball again, but it hits it into the outfield. The only guy going to be able to make that play was Barney. Kevin Pillar made a little bit of an adjustment for today's game. He's going to play a couple steps deeper. That play we showed yesterday where he made a catch against the wall in left center field, he said, boy, those bricks are really hard, so I'm going to try and take away that chance where I have to run into the wall, so I'm going to play a couple of steps deeper. So he had no chance to get that ball. Barney was the only one, and he came up just oh so short.
Here is Javi Baez. He had a big day yesterday at the plate and in the field. Baez hit a big 2-run home run, a decisive home run in that the Blue Jays had made it a 5-4 game, top of the 8th, and he came back with a 2-run home run in the bottom half of that inning.
Jay Happ pitched him tough early on.
There goes the runner. Foul back to the screen. Hayward was off on the pitch. It's a foul ball.
He pitched him tough. He got a bloop single down the right field line, struck him out, but then anything down and in, that's what Baez is going to cream, and it goes down and in, and look at how far this ball went. Almost clears everything in left field. He's got a quick bat down and in. Don't think that you can try and get it by him.
That was his 20th home run of the season. Outside. So for the Cubs, they have 4 players 25 years or younger with 20 home runs or more. That certainly bodes well for the future of this franchise, having that many good young hitters.
That's
at such a young age.
Nice start to build around. You know what? That was also the 68th major leaguer to hit at least 20 home runs this year. We're mid-August. 68 big leaguers had at least 20.
Foul back. It's the 3rd team that's done that. Has 4 sluggers 25 years or younger that have connected for 20 or more home runs in a season. The 79 Expos did it, as did the 2007 Milwaukee Brewers. 1-2 to Baez. Breaking ball stayed inside. 2-2 now.
He started the runner earlier. Stay out of the double play. Remember, the pitcher is on deck. They might start him again here. 2-2.
Baez is prone to strike out. Hayward at first. Not running. And he does strike out. Tell you what, you don't have to throw him a strike. He is up there swinging, and that was a high fastball. He swung right through it. First strikeout of the afternoon for Tepish.
Yeah, preferably high against Baez because he'll go after it. Comes up empty right there. Let her high. You see his hands, how his hands were up. They dropped, and then he couldn't get them back up again to catch up to that fastball. That's where you want to pitch him.
Quintana swinging away. Oftentimes you'll see pitchers in this situation square to bunt. Quintana, since coming to the Cubs, is 1 for 9 as a hitter. He has 5 strikeouts. He struck out half the time he's come to the plate. He only has 1 sacrifice bunt. Here he squares and bunts it foul right behind home plate. The reason you have those pitchers bunting is you don't want them to hit it on the ground and hit into a double play.
Or pull a muscle, or make them run hard 90 feet.
Pull a muscle? Come on, they're great athletes.
Yeah, they got to go back out there and pitch. You know? So you bunt them over at a second base and take 1 shot, basically, with your leadoff hitter to try and drive them in.
0-2, trying to bunt again. He bunts it in the air, go quickly to first and get him. Good job by Tepish. Great reactions. Quintana popped it in the air. Hayward took 1 too many steps towards second, and it costs him. Tepish does a good job. Watch how quickly he turns and fires to smoke. Hayward out in no man's land, and that ends the inning.
TV Premium. You can watch every At a Market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. In case you missed it earlier before the game, Don Cherry here at Wrigley Field. There with Joe Madden. Grapes, a big baseball fan, big Blue Jays fan, said nobody in the majors is playing better right now than Josh Donaldson. 7th inning stretch. He's getting the microphone, Buck. And he said, root for the best team. That's what he has in store.
The best team. Now, Grapes is never one to mince words, and I'm kind of surprised he split the middle ground right there, went for the best team.
You think he should say Blue Jays?
Absolutely, he should say Blue Jays. Absolutely.
They might not invite him back if he says Blue Jays.
You know what? I think he had such a great time here. Ryan Dempster did a terrific job of escorting Don around to the different players. He got the chance to see Joe Madden there as Grapes, a big baseball fan. And I tell you what, when he walked on the field, the Blue Jays fans recognized right away, and they all stood and applauded Don Cherry as he made his entrance in here prior to the game. So top of the order for the Blue Jays. Second look at Jose Quintana. They trail 1-0. And breaking ball. One thing Quintana also brings to this Cubs team is consistency. 4 straight years, 200+ innings. He doesn't miss a start. You know what? Managers want predictability. He's not a 1, he's not a 2. He might be a solid 3, maybe a 4 in a rotation, but you know what you're going to get. There are no surprises with Quintana.
Joe Madden was raving about Quintana today. His character.
This little flare, Rizzo can't make the play. It drops safely in foul ground.
And just like you said, you can count on him, and he's going to give you innings. He's going to give you starts. Let's take a little closer look at this afternoon's starter for the Cubs, what he will feature. There's the fastball 63% of the time. That's why he reminds me of Jay Happ, because he's going to use it on both sides of the plate. He'll mix in a curveball 29% of the time, and a changeup just a few times. Curveball, they're hitting 190 against that. But he's attacks you like Happ does. He'll use the fastball. He can pitch up with it, or he can pitch onto the corners with it. I'll tell you, it's a great fit for the Cubs. They needed another starter.
They did indeed, and they've had a couple of different starters on the DL from time to time. Currently, John Lester is on the DL. I don't think it's anything serious, but at the same time, he can't pitch. 2-2 pitch to Bautista. Stays back on that breaking ball.
Quintana got him last time with an inside fastball. In fact, he struck out 2 batters in the first inning on the inside part of the plate with that fastball. This at bat, it looks like he's going to more of the breaking ball.
Second time through the order. He's got a veteran catching him. Alex Avila catching him for the second time. And they were both together with the White Sox.
Second time through, he's going to throw a few more sliders, less fastballs, and then he'll change up once again third time through.
Bautista with yet another full count. He does this on a regular basis. Ground ball. Bryant again. Dive from his knees. Bounces it to Rizzo, and he digs it out of the dirt. Chris Bryant's had a busy start to his afternoon.
He's taken away a hit from Kevin Pillar. Got Darwin Barney on board on a throwing error, but this is a design play from Bryant. As he goes from his knees, he's not going to try and throw it on the fly. He's going to just bounce it out in front so his partner Rizzo can make the play. You bounce it over there on the grass, and that makes it a little bit easier for that first baseman to go out there and make the play, which he does.
Here in Chicago, they refer to these two as Brizzo. Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. And they were together on the field in Cleveland celebrating that long-awaited World Series championship last year. Donaldson went around on that high heater. Mentioned Josh, over his last 6 games, came into this game batting 10 for 20. He's also hit well against Quintana, the Cubs starter. 6 for 14 now. That breaking ball, he drops it on the outside corner.
More breaking balls. He'll throw a change up every now and then. Not 10% of the time. It's fastball, move it around, breaking ball. And Josh is locked in right now.
Fights that one off and fouls it into the seats. The Blue Jays this season against left-handed starters are 11-18. Again, that's a surprising number given the number of good right-handed hitters they have in their lineup. But when you're a lefty like Quintana and can throw a strike inside, that's generally what gives the hitters problems.
And their switch hitters have great numbers against left-handed pitching. Talking about Smoke and Morales, their numbers are off the charts against left-handed pitching. Hasn't added up to any wins. 7 games under 500 against left-handed starters this season.
Smoke hitting .402 against lefties starting this game. Morales .340. Off the plate inside.
These two at the top of the lineup for the Blue Jays see a lot of pitches. They really make them work. Jose ran the count full.
Foul back right under our broadcast position.
Thought we were going to make a play.
I had it all the way. Blue Jays got more bad news on the sick bay list. Brian Tepera left the ballpark. He is back to hotel. He's got that fever that has been plaguing this roster. Aoki and Morales dealt with it in Toronto, and now Osuna missed yesterday's game. He is back today. I asked Roberto how he felt, and he kind of gave me a wishy-washy kind of answer. So he's not up to 100% just yet.
He also said he was going to try and throw today in the field during batting practice, see how his arm feels, see how his strength felt. So Blue Jays aren't going to tell us one way or another if he's available. He's here, but we'll see if he's available.
Now you'll remember yesterday at the start of the game, Joe West was at first base umpire, and he came down. John Gibbons called him out, and we couldn't really figure out what that issue was about. Well, I spoke to Joe West today, and the Blue Jays did not have their monitor covering the Cubs bullpen working at the time, and Joe West made a point to let the staff here at Wrigley Field know, and they got it rectified. So that's all it was. They just didn't have that video working to start the game. Donaldson takes ball 4 inside. First walk issued by Quintana.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
50-50, that's the crowd here at Wrigley Field. Half Blue Jays, half Cubs fans, and it's hard to tell because they're all in blue. I mentioned first walk. Indeed, it's the second walk. Refsnyder was given an intentional pass with 2 outs in the second. So here is Smoke. Smoke was called out on a fastball that caught the inside corner in the first.
What an at-bat by Donaldson. Really working over Quintana before walking. Now he's got to face Smoke. You mentioned Smokey's .400 batting average against left-handed pitching this year. He's also hit a share of home runs. So you want to pitch around Donaldson and be real careful with him. Got to deal with this guy.
Smoke gets jammed. Happ will flip to Rizzo. On the play, Donaldson moves into second. That's the second out of the inning. Don't see Smoke get jammed like that too often, batting right-handed.
Tells you Quintana's fastball's sneaky good today.
So here is Steve Pearce batting with 2 outs. He doubled down the left field line his first time up. The Cubs playing him more straight away than we have seen, especially on the infield. Pat, you mentioned yesterday had a couple of base hits to the right side.
And his first time up, they were playing him in pretty much a shift. The second baseman was right behind the bag at second base, and he promptly singled to right field. You know, that's the thing about Joe Maddon and his staff. He says, you know, we've got all of the information and all the numbers and crunchers and things like that, but I got to go by what my eyes tell me. And his eyes were telling him that he was hitting the ball the other way. So everybody is pretty much straight up right now.
Inside. It's really interesting as they straighten out the defense. Quintana continues to pitch Pierce inside, which would lead you to believe he's going to pull the ball. Pitched him inside again and caught that corner. Quintana has recorded 4 strikeouts. He's pitching with 2 outs here in the third.
We mentioned that at the top, that he's got to be able to pitch these righties in. Got a couple of strikeouts in the first inning on fastballs on the inside part of the plate.
Bounce that ball in the dirt.
You know, with 2 strikes or 2 outs, the infielders are going to play deep. They're not paying any attention to Josh Donaldson, so Josh can get off there as far as he can. With 2 outs, score on anything into the outfield. The middle infield for the Cubs play really deep. They play out on the grass, trying to hope and trying to break and knock anything down. But Josh can take advantage of that.
Pierce strikes out. They throw him a pitch down and away, and Quintana picks up strikeout number 5. The Blue Jays leave a base runner in scoring position. We're going to the bottom of the third. The Cubs are up 1-0.
That presents 40 in 40, the greatest Blue Jays. Our panel of baseball experts voted and will reveal the top 40 Blue Jays since 1977. It's going to be a real fun show. Jamie Campbell, Jerry Howarth, Stephen Brunt, and Jeff Blair will host the 40 in 40 next Sunday, 4 Eastern on Sportsnet. I was lucky enough to get a ballot. My number 1 was Robbie Alomar, but Tabby, you went elsewhere.
Yeah, I went with Dave Steve. I couldn't hit him, so I voted him number 1.
Where did you vote me, Arash?
I thought they should have like the top 150 or 160. Then you and I could get
300 or 400, maybe.
300 or 400. It's only halfway there.
The top 400 in 40 years. Here's the leadoff man, John Jay. He's scored the only run of this game. He drew a leadoff walk, came around to score in the first. 1-0 Chicago. One and two now. John Jay began his career with Cardinals, went to San Diego for 1 year and then signed as a free agent. Swing and a miss. Tepish with his second strikeout of the ball game. Gets the leadoff man here in the sixth.
Second strikeout this afternoon for Nick Tepish. He got Baez on a high fastball. His best pitch is his curveball. When he's throwing it for a strike, you can see it's a knuckle curve where he takes that index finger, puts his knuckle on it. That helps him to really pull down with that middle finger. When he's got that working with his fastball, he can get big league hitters out. Good looking pitch there.
Kyle Schwarber, the left fielder. Schwarber last year played in just 2 games during the regular season. He got hurt in game 3 in a collision with the center fielder down in Arizona. He had that ACL knee surgery, worked hard and made it back, much like Marcus Stroman made it back for the postseason. And he really worked hard to get up to speed, but he appeared in 5 games in the World Series and had 7 hits.
So this is his first full season in the major leagues, and pitchers made the adjustment. He got off to a terrible, and I mean terrible, start this season. Hit 204 in April, 120 in May, and then 196 for the first 3 weeks of June before they finally sent him down to the minor leagues to clear his head, get his act together. Kyle hit 343 down there, 4 home runs in 11 games, and he's been back, and he says, I've been hitting better, I feel better, it's behind me, I don't want to worry about that anymore.
He's always been an offensive player, and he came up initially as a catcher. They thought he might catch, but after that significant knee injury, he's probably never going to see the catcher's gear again.
Well, the way he can hit and produce, you want his bat somewhere in the corner in the outfield. He said that demotion really put fire in his eyes because I did it to myself. Got off to a terrible start. So he doesn't want to do that anymore. Go back down to the minor leagues.
Des Moines, Iowa is a nice place, but nobody wants to play baseball there.
It's not here, right?
Full count, 1 out. Got him. Little slider down under the hands of Schwarber. Tepish has recorded 3 strikeouts in the last 4 plate appearances.
Kyle's another one of those hitters that has a lot of moving parts. So if you change speeds and throw a breaking ball, you can get a strikeout. He is prone to strike out. That's the first time that Tepish has got him this season, or this game. That's 2 in a row.
Here's Chris Bryant. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. That extends his streak of reaching base to 16 straight. Two balls and no strikes. Driven to the alley in left center, and that's going to go all the way to the ivy. Bryant is headed for second. He'll get there with a stand-up double. 27th double of the season for the third baseman.
The all-new 2017 Civic Si. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Chris Bryant came into this game a hot hitter, and he's showing you why. He had a good game yesterday. He was on board, hit by pitch first time up 2-0. He's looking fastball, and he gets one right down the middle. Hits it into the gap, and you can see his athleticism going from first to second when he made that turn at first base. He's already been involved in a lot of plays this afternoon.
In the field and at the plate. Anthony Rizzo walked his first time up. Rizzo has 12 ribbies in his last 6 games, including this one this afternoon. 1-0 Chicago. Ball in the strike. This is a very well balanced lineup. They have the ability to protect Bryant with Rizzo, and then Happ for Bryant. He rips that one into the seats and back onto the playing field.
I think they're a little bit better against right-handed pitching. Rizzo, Schwarber, Hayward, Happ's a switch hitter. They're all left-handed hitters. John Jay, the center fielder, all lefties. Yesterday we saw Jay Happ, so we saw Caratini and Almora. They really aren't the hitters like Schwarber and Jay are.
Nice play by Tepish. He flips to Smoke, and that'll end the inning. Chris Bryant with a 2-out double. He's stranded on base. It's still a 1-0 game as we head to the 4th. Pilar, Barney, and Lopez for the Blue Jays. In 1914, 2 years after Boston's Fenway Park had opened up, and yeah, it's a home of the Cubs, but it's also been a home of the NFL. You take a look at the configuration of the stadium for football when the Chicago Bears made this their home stadium, and there were a lot of great memories over the years and some terrific players. Of course, number 89, none other than Mike Ditka, the coach, and the great running back Gale Sayers. 6 touchdowns while running for the Chicago Bears in a single game, and they have a lot of history. A lot of things happened in this ballpark.
That scoreboard right there, the iconic scoreboard, handled by people inside there, slide down the numbers and everything like that. That's been here forever. The rooftops out in the outfield, of course, the ivy. Those were in all those shots that we just showed you from old Wrigley Field. Played football here till 1970. Then the Bears moved over to Soldier Field. And the NHL has been here. They were in the Winter Classic, a hockey game here in the winter time.
Kevin Pillar pulls it foul. One thing that gets overlooked an awful lot is the fact that Babe Ruth's called shot right here at Wrigley Field. Game 3 of the 32 World Series, when Ruth hit the home run off Charlie Root's next pitch after pointing to the outfield. And of course, a lot of controversy about whether or not he was indeed calling the shots, but there's a story that he had promised a youngster he did a home run, a child in the hospital. Also, there was the great game in which 2 pitchers threw no hitters in the same game. 1917, Hippo Vaughn pitching for the Cubs, and Fred Toney. both threw 9-inning no-hitters before Jim Thorpe. None other than Jim Thorpe, the great Olympian, drove in the only run of the game in the 10th. So a lot of great history in this ballpark, and it's not all about baseball. Kevin Pillar says you can't catch this one, Chris Bryant. Pillar singles into right.
Tell you, as a kid growing up, I'd watch the Cincinnati Reds play in this ballpark, and it was the bleacher bums that you really got to hear. Now, they've made some changes here over the last couple of years. They've made the bleachers longer, and there's more of them in left center field and in right center field, but the bleacher bums have always been a staple here at Wrigley Field.
Well, then you know for sure that Pete Rose's 191st hit came right here at Wrigley Field in 1985. That tied Ty Cobb for the most hits in baseball history.
He wasn't supposed to play that game because they wanted to break it back home. They were playing the Cubs here and then going back home to play the Padres. But he came out here, and only as Pete Rose can, he came out here and came oh so close.
Leadoff single by Pillar. Darwin Barney takes it outside. Blue Jays have been playing hit and run lately a lot, and they've got a good combination at the plate now with Pillar at first and Barney at second. And in fact, you got Rafael Lopez and then Rob Refsnyder. You might play hit and run here. See if you can't create some action on the infield, open up a hole for Barney.
Kevin looks like he wants to go. The Cubs do something a little interesting with their first baseman. Rizzo doesn't hold him on the bag. He will get a little bit closer to the pitcher as he comes set. That's tough on the batter because, or excuse me, the runner. They feel like you have an idea. You can see that guy in the back of your side of your eyes. You can see where he is. If he's getting closer, you might start to inch off and you're farther away from the base.
And Keith Hernandez is the first guy I remember doing that. A great first baseman for the Cardinals and for the Mets. He would walk off the base with the runner, and you lose perspective as a runner as to where you are on the base path when that first baseman comes with you. It's especially effective against left-handed pitching because you have a tendency to think that you can take a little more room.
And he can do that because he's a left-handed throwing first baseman. That glove right down to the runner. But he'll come off that bag as the pitcher comes set.
Well, whatever's happened to Quintana, he has fallen behind Barney now. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Pillar's not running. There's an inside strike. He's had a good eye on that inside corner early in this game.
This is the count where the Blue Jays really like to play hit and run 2-1. And you're hoping for somebody to open up a hole and Barney make contact and Pillar can go to third base.
Another throw to first. Not running. 3-1 now. Well, Quintana, for the first time today, was distracted by Pillar at first base. They put a little too much emphasis on him. And now he's fallen behind after giving up the leadoff single to Pillar. Darwin Barney with a 3-1 count. Not running again. Strike 2.
Got to go now. Stay out of that double play.
Create some movement on the infield. Baez at short. Happ at second.
If you're going, don't get picked off. That's what the coach will tell you. Tim Leeper is going to come up to him and talk to him and say, hey, you're going on this pitch, but make sure he goes home.
That's why you see those often strike him out, throw him out in double plays because the runner has to make sure the pitcher's going home. Pillar's not running. Ground ball, fair ball, past Bryant. Pillar's headed for third, and the fan has touched the baseball, so Barney will go to second. Pillar was keeping an eye on the third base coach Rivera, but the umpire down at third baseline said fan obstruction, and that killed the play.
Darwin Barney doing something special coming back. This is where his big league career started with the Cubs. Takes that pitch up and out over the plate. Somehow gets it by Bryant. Bryant has been catching everything so far this afternoon. There's the touch. Down the left field line, that stops Pillar at third base.
I tell you what, the Cubs took Quintana out of a good frame of mind by worrying so much about Pillar. He fell behind, and Barney gets the double. Now Raffy Lopez.
Tell you, this is a big at bat. If you're playing along with the Blue Jays, Lopez has to do something here. If he doesn't, if he pops up, strikes out, you walk Refsnyder again, you get the pitcher coming up again now with just one out. So Lopez, Rafi's got to do something here. Move that baseball, move those runners.
Got to put it in play on the ground. Anywhere but the pitcher, that'll get you a run. That'll get you a run, maybe two. Pillar's in to score. Here comes Barney right behind him. The throw from Schwarber late, not in time, and Lopez goes to second. Raffy Lopez, with his first 2 RBIs as a Blue Jay, has given the Jays the lead.
Nicely done. Just what we were talking about. Got to make contact, got to put the ball in play, move it to get those runners in. Inside out, he slices it to left field. Heads up once again as Schwarber gets over there to cut it off. Really no chance to get Barney at the plate. He overthrows the cutoff man. And that allows Lopez to move up to second base. Barney coming in back door with that hand on the plate. The Jays 3 straight hits to open the 4th.
The Cub connection, Barney and Lopez, has given the Blue Jays the lead. They both played their first major league games in Cubs uniforms. Rob Refsnyder. Batting 8th in a National League lineup might be the toughest position in the lineup anywhere in baseball.
You got the pitcher behind you, and Barney getting some work on the bench after that slide. You've got the pitcher behind you, so you don't know if they're going to challenge you or they're not going to challenge you. Give you something to hit, so you have to be very patient and understand what they're going to try and do to you. Nick Tepesh has come out on deck. He got a long list of instructions from John Gibbons before he went out on deck, letting him know if Refsnyder gets on what he wants him to do.
Ground ball to Bryant. He looks the runner back at second, and Refsnyder is thrown out.
And now he went back to talk to Gibbons and say, okay, now what did you want me to do now? He didn't move that runner.
Hit a homer.
Well, this is all about, are you going to bunt or are you going to swing? And for me, I would not bunt into an out.
Now,
right here.
Let him swing.
Let him swing away. Rizzo, the first baseman, is in, and he's an outstanding fielder. If he bunts, slow a runner at second base, you don't want him thrown out at third. Swing away.
Took a good hack. Tepesh has 1 hit in his big league career. This is just his 8th big league at bat. 2-1 ball game. Raffy Lopez has given the Blue Jays that lead. Foul back. For Lopez, just his 2nd and 3rd major league RBIs. He had a sacrifice RBI against Clayton Kershaw while playing for the Cubs back in 2014. That's only his 4th big league hit. But a timely hit indeed.
Blue Jays will take it. Sacrifice fly for your first big league RBI. 2 big ones here to put the Blue Jays ahead. That was a sweet swing right there. Got it started, caught it out front. Off the left-hander also.
After you get your first big hit off Clayton Kershaw, rather left-handed, looks pedestrian. And there are the Blue Angels, part of that big air show here today. That pitch strikes out. He took a good cut, but swings and misses. 6 strikeouts for Dean Thomas. So Bautista will bat with a runner in scoring position. Jose has struck out and grounded out. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout and off the roof into the seats. That's the best kind of foul ball to get, one of those that bounces first because it comes down softly.
And it comes right to you, right? Jose was ready for that first pitch that time. Got a runner in scoring position. Outfield backed up just a little bit. When Tepish was up, they were a little bit shallower. Now they have backed up with Bautista at the plate, so Lopez can score on any base hit into the outfield.
Bautista goes around. 0-2. High fastball, and Bautista strikes out. A couple of strikeouts in the inning, but the Blue Jays get 3 straight hits, and then Rafi Lopez's 3rd hit is a 2-run base hit. Lopez has given the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead.
Barty won a Gold Glove while a member of the Cubs. He matched the longest single-season errorless streak in Major League history back in 2012. Barney yesterday reflecting on his time in Chicago, the mystique of Wrigley Field, but he told me the roots of that Gold Glove season came the year before. He had growing pains from playing second base for the first time in his career. He and a coach, Pat Listash, put a lot of time in before games, making defensive work a point of emphasis, and lots of video, Barney told me. What I thought was most interesting about it is that Barney said instead of playing off spreadsheets, they used the film more. They saw what happened on video more than spray charts. So much so that 2012 was a Gold Glove season, a year that Barney called special. Buck.
Indeed, it was special, and Darwin Barney broke the Cub record set by Ryan Sandberg. And it was the AAA manager, Sandberg, that helped too in that transition from shortstop to second base.
Yeah, he credits Ryan a lot in getting him to the major leagues and helping him to become the type of fielder that he has become. Ryan was a manager in the minor leagues when Darwin was there. He was playing shortstop, but he had some kid by the name of Starlin Castro ahead of him. Said, you know what, maybe my future is at second base.
What actually happened was Castro was promoted from AA to the big leagues while Barney was playing shortstop at AAA, and he went in to talk to Sandberg, and he said, you know what, Ryan, I need to think about another position. So they shifted him across the diamond and put him at second. This is high and deep to left and going to be out of here. Ian Happ, with his 18th home run of the season, has tied it up again. That's the 6th home run that Tepesh has surrendered.
Happ had an absolutely brutal day yesterday with his bat. Struck out 4 times, but that's the beauty of baseball. You can come back today. He's already 2 for 2. He's driven in both runs for the Chicago Cubs. That's home run number 18 as he inches closer to 20. Fastball out over the plate. Stays right with it. He's got plenty of power the other way. Gets underneath that one, and he knows it's gone. He is going to be a 30 home run middle infielder.
What a good swing that was. Opposite field, a home run, and it's a 2-2 game. So it happened last night with the Blue Jays. In the 8th inning, they scored 3 to make it a 5-4 Cubs lead. And they came right back in the bottom half of that inning, and Javi Baez hit a 2-run home run. So it's 2-2 in the bottom of the 4th, nobody out. This is Alex Avila. He grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end the first. Going to hear that the rest of the afternoon. The Blue Angels are putting on their demonstration now.
That was too close for me. You loved it, I know. Here they come again. That was too close for me.
There's a base hit to right field. Avila has his first hit of the afternoon.
You know, things can get out of whack here in a hurry. And I think that's why Pete Walker is out very quickly here in Wrigley Field with this team as Danny Barnes is getting loose in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. The crowd starts to get into it. The home run got them fired up. It can go sideways quickly, so you want to. It's almost like a coach's timeout in basketball where you take the crowd out of it and slow things down.
With that home run, the Cubs have now hit 15 home runs in their last 7 games. And we showed you the splits between the first half and the second half, how the offense has really picked it up in the second half. I mentioned we spoke to Theo Epstein, the president of baseball operations here with the Cubs, and he was a little disappointed about the start in the second half. He said, I think we're built for the sprint to the finish line now.
They came out of the All-Star game on fire. Their starters really got it working, and then they went in a little bit of a tailspin again.
Jason Hayward had a base hit to center field his first time up. You saw Danny Barnes loosening up for the Blue Jays. This is a potent offensive team, the Cubs. Smoke with a nice play. Second for one. Back to first. And that one goes into the seats. Darwin Barney airmails Tepish at first as Smoke did a good job to get the lead runner Avila at second. And then on the return throw to first, Barney threw it over everything and it ended up in the first row of seats behind the Blue Jays dugout.
Smoke has done a great job all year long, fielding and then throwing on the run. That's a strike to Barney, and that's out number one. The slide is good, the throw is not. Avila goes right into the bag, doesn't disturb Darwin at all. He just throws high to Tepish, so he'll be charged with his 8th error.
So they walk the number 8 hitter, Javi Baez. And they just asked for the intentional walk. So the pitcher will come up now. Jose Quintana. Donaldson over to talk to Tepish about the defensive coverage here with 1 out. And you certainly expect him, Quintana, to be bunting here. Blue Jays giving instruction to Donaldson, and then he passes it along to Barney. Quintana squares to bunt. Remember, Quintana popped up a bunt with 2 strikes in the second inning, bunted it to Tepish, who turned it into a double play when he got Hayward at first. Good bunt this time. He killed it. Tepish throw in time. Quintana delivers. Just his second sacrifice bunt of the season. It's a beauty.
Help yourself. That's what you want to do. If you can't get a base hit, at least move the runners. John Gibbons is not going to let Nick Tepish face the Cubs for the 3rd time. He's already motioned that he wants Danny Barnes.
So John Jay, scheduled batter. Tepish will be out of this ball game. It's a choo-choo game. The runners are his responsibility. Danny Barnes coming in. Fares from Canada to London Gatwick at WestJet.com and call your travel agent. New pitcher into the ballgame for the Blue Jays is Danny Barnes, and Barnes has been terrific, especially in these situations, inheriting base runners. Barnes did not pitch yesterday, got a day off, got a chance to regroup a little bit. He last pitched on Thursday and did a good job. An inning and a third walked a batter through 24 pitches, but in that situation too, he stranded a couple base runners.
Yeah, and 14% of those runners have scored. That's it. Third best among American League relievers. He gets the top of the lineup here with a couple on and a couple out.
John Jay has walked and struck out. It's a 2-2 ball game. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. Two and 0. Danny Barnes has been the best Blue Jays reliever in stranding inherited base runners. He has done a terrific job, allowing just 4 of 28 to come in to score.
And he's been good against lefties because of his changeup, and there it is. Not afraid to throw it at any time.
There's a strike. It's 3-1. Ian Happ homered to lead this inning off. That tied it at 2-2. Strike 2. Barnes is a strike thrower. He has been all season long. Just 15 walks, 52 strikeouts. Opponents have hit just 189 against Danny Barnes.
Yeah, you come out of that bullpen, you can handle lefties, you can handle righties. He's got a couple of tough lefties to deal with here with a couple of runners in scoring position. Nice.
Got it. What a job by Barnes. John Jay not pleased with the call. But again, Danny Barnes comes up big time when he inherits a couple of base runners. He leaves them stranded. Ian Happ has tied it. We go to the 5th in this 2-2 game. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zorn.
Presented by Boston Pizza. You can join pregame outside gates 5 and 10 for inflatables, activities, and a lot of fun. After the game, of course, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Junior J Saturdays presented by Boston Pizza. BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck.
It's always a great Saturday out at Rogers Center. Families come and the kids get to run the bases, as Rash mentioned, and a lot of Blue Jay families here today. A lot of kids, a lot of moms and pops having a great time in a great city in a beautiful ballpark. And another good game. For the Blue Jays, it'll be Donaldson, Smoke, and Pierce in this tie game. JD goes after the first pitch and pops it out of play.
Blue Jays giving their fans something to cheer about. Great game yesterday. Another good one this afternoon.
Ground ball. Baez waits on it, fires in plenty of time. One away.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
One of the great cities in North America, Chicago, Illinois, and it is a hub for a lot of activity this weekend. Second game of a 3-game series between Blue Jays and the Cubs. Dustin Smoke takes a breaking ball in there, down and in for a ball. Speaking of smoke, there's a lot of smoke being cast off by the Blue Angels, who are in the midst of their demonstration here over Lake Michigan. Ground ball, foul. Just wide of first.
We came out to the ballpark today about 9:30. You have to go right by where they're going to be performing out over the lake. Came up Lakeshore Drive. The boats and the people were already out this morning, weren't they?
They were out setting up their picnic tables and their chairs and umbrellas, getting ready for a big afternoon. Couldn't ask for a better day. Popped up out of play. Well, the first 2 games in this series have been very entertaining. The Blue Jays lost yesterday 7-4, but they made it interesting. They scored 3 runs in the 8th inning, capped off by a Ryan Goins 2-run single. It was 5-4 at that point, but Baez hit a home run in the bottom of the 8th. Breaking ball downstairs.
I don't care what the score is. If the Blue Jays are behind, they somehow make it interesting at the back end of a game, don't they?
They do. They never give up, and the bullpen has been so good that it has kept them in the games, and they always had the ability to stay within striking distance.
I think that's playing within the American League East day in and day out, that you end up with that mindset that you, the opposition, are going to earn 27 outs against us. You see that in the American League, don't you? Tampa, Baltimore, the Yankees, Boston. I mean, it's such a meat grinder.
The Blue Jays have 33 come from behind wins this season.
Thought they were going to have one yesterday when they got those 3 runs in the 8th inning, but that big 2-run home run by Baez
kind of looked like
the
they were going to come back, and then Baez kind of crushed their hopes with that deep home run to left. Full count to Smoke with Pierce on deck. Line to Ian Happ, the second baseman. Well, I'll tell you what, things have tightened up dramatically in the wild card race. The Yankees, they lost last night. They're 3.5 up over the Twins, who have the second wild card spot. Twins and Angels are tied. Then the Royals and the Mariners are half game back. Texas, Baltimore, and Toronto tied with Tampa Bay. Quite a race.
It's going to go down to the last day. Today, or this season, might be the year where we have multiple wild card teams at the end.
Playoffs to get into the playoffs.
To get into the playoffs. A 1-game playoff to play a 1-game playoff.
There are so many scenarios, it's not even worth talking about until you get the last week of the season. Team A will be Team B, and the team with the record that's better in the division, and there's so many
3-team trades or 3-team ties. It's ridiculous. We'll talk about it in September.
Yep.
Just know that the Blue Jays are right there.
Steve Pearce doubled and struck out. Tapper foul. Pierce hanging tough. He gets to that slow breaking ball and fouls it out. Fifth inning, Quintana will start it for the Cubs. Has 7 strikeouts. Nick Tepesh is out of the game. Danny Barnes now the pitcher. Got it. Another fastball. Pierce caught looking. It's strike 3. 8 strikeouts for Quintana. They'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-2 game on a beautiful afternoon in Chicago. Build an organization. The Cubs have done a pretty good job. When you look at their first round picks beginning in 2011 with Javi Baez, they have not missed on any of those first round picks.
Here they all are in the big leagues, all of them young players that you can build a team around. Baez in 2011, now more Brian Schwarber, and now Happ just a couple of seasons ago. Theo Epstein took over this team, brought his group here, and they have done a good job of, they've had some high draft picks because of the problems that they had before he got here, but they have hit on their draft picks and they've got something to build around.
The only one of those top draft picks that wasn't Epstein's was the first one, Javi Baez, in 2011, and since 12 he's been in charge of this organization and has made all those great picks. Schwarber, Bryant, and Rizzo for the Cubs here in the 5th. Danny Barnes, boy, he inherited a tough situation, 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, and struck out John Jay looking.
That's what John Gibbons has been doing with Barnes. He's been bringing him in tight situations, letting him finish that inning, and then pushing him for one more. And he has responded.
Barnes and Dominic Leone were not available yesterday. They wanted to give them a little time to regroup because they've had a heavy workload lately. And I spoke to Dominic in the locker room this morning. He said, I'm fine, 24 hours and feel a lot better, ready to go. There's another call, strike 3. Schwarber caught looking. He strikes out for a second time this afternoon.
Pretty simple formula for Danny Barnes. Fastball, changeup, and he's got that fastball with a high spin rate that's got some life to it, and it takes Schwarber by surprise as he freezes him with that fastball. Just about 92, 93 miles an hour.
Found the strike zone. A little bit of movement. Stay ahead. Good formula. It's worked for Danny Barnes. Chris Bryant has been hit by a pitch, and he's doubled. It's base both times. This is a high fly ball. Pierce coming in. Barney going out. Pierce calls for it. The left fielder makes the catch.
He was geared up for one of those fastballs from Danny Barnes, and he couldn't catch up to it. Danny can pitch upstairs with that fastball or down in the strike zone. Trying to develop an off-speed pitch, like a breaking ball, like a slider, but he just hasn't been able to get the feel for it just yet.
The effectiveness of his fastball and changeup is the way that he pronates his hand and turns it over and gets sinking action on both those pitches. Well, the counter to that is to get a breaking ball, and it's a different action on your hand and wrist, and sometimes it's hard for guys to accomplish that and come up with a real good breaking ball.
He's tried to do that this year, and it's been so-so.
Iffy results for sure. But at the same time, you don't want to mess with success. Rizzo hits it sharp, and Pilar is going to run it down. Good inning for Danny Barnes. Good jump for Kevin Pilar in center, playing a little deeper this afternoon, and that paid dividends. Blue Jay fans here at Wrigley Field, we wanted to send a shout out, take a moment to thank a great fan for a long time, Rita Langen, 97 years young. Rita watches all the games and knows all the players. And Rita, we understand you've had a little bit of a rough go of it lately, so we want to send our best wishes to you. We certainly hope you feel better soon, and thanks for watching all the Blue Jay games. And I know the players appreciate your loyal support, as Pat and I do as well. So thanks for watching, and we appreciate your great support and hope you're enjoying this game today from Wrigley. Jose Quintana set to work to Kevin Pilar to start this sixth inning. Another good outing for Quintana. 8 strikeouts through 5 innings. He's walked a couple, 1 intentional, and thrown 89 pitches to this point.
Since coming over the Cubs, that has been just about his limit. Right around 6 innings is his average per start.
First pitch strike to Pilar.
See if the Blue Jays can knock him out before he can finish 6 innings this afternoon.
Pilar reaches for that up and away pitch and hits it into the seats. Kevin had a leadoff single his last time up in the 4th, and he came around to score. He scored on the 2-run single by Rafi Lopez.
I think Wrigley Field agrees with Kevin Pillar.
He likes it.
He had
a couple of doubles yesterday.
Robbed of a hit his first time up, single. He's made some nice catches in the outfield. He's a baseball purist.
Stays on this one, but that's going to hook foul.
So you know he loves playing day games in this ballpark.
Kevin, like so many of the Blue Jays players on this trip, has his family here with him. Watch the ball boy save that fan a black and blue mark. And the fan appreciative of it. Thank you for making that catch. Outside. No, a lot of Blue Jays players have their families, their wives, their kids, in-laws and parents here for the weekend. And what a weekend it is. Day games, and then you can enjoy the great city of Chicago in the evenings.
That's all great. Getting up in the next morning is not so good for the next day game.
Quick turnaround. Clark pops this one up on the infield. Rizzo, the first baseman, comes over, makes the catch.
You know, Buck, Joe Madden was talking about that this morning, about all these day games and how they're not taking batting practice this whole week. He has a mandate that the players cannot come to the clubhouse before 10 o'clock. They'll get their work in the cage before the game get loose. He says, but why would I have them come out on the field on these grinding day games in August? What am I going to get out of that? I don't want my players to wear down because they get 50 swings out on the field. And he also said something interesting.
Barney hits it to Baez, who bounces it, and Rizzo's there to help him out.
Joe said, I don't want my pitchers out there running around shagging. Why should I let them get tired? They should just be ready, get their work done, and watch the ball game. My starters especially during batting practice. So no BP again today for the Cubbies.
Joe Madden calls it his American Legion week, in reference to the way we used to play during American Legion. You'd show up at the ballpark, you'd put your spikes on in the parking lot and go play baseball. So there was no activity on the field for the Cubs prior to any of these two games. Here is Rafi Lopez. Picked up his first two Blue Jays RBIs his last time up. Solid single to left center. Two and one.
Stay with that same approach that he had, left center field. That'll keep you on the left-handed pitcher. Sweet stroke to get that two-run single last time.
Got an away strike. That makes it an even count at 2-2. Ball three. Pull on the ground. Rizzo, the first baseman, will toss to Quintana, covering the bag, and the inning is over. Quintana, easy inning in the sixth. He's retired 9 in a row. It's a choo-choo game. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 2-2 ball game, and the Blue Jays fans have been entertained with a couple of great games here in Chicago. Plains here, that's the great Blue Angels demonstration team, and they have been going through their show here today. They will wrap things up fairly soon and then do it again tomorrow. Another great crowd on hand, and I was told today by Ryan Dempster, a Canadian who has great ties with this Cubs. He said when they announced the schedule last year in September, this series sold out quicker than any series for the whole year. And the fans saw the Blue Jays were coming to town. Blue Jay fans jumped on the internet, ordered their tickets, and they had 41,000 yesterday. They're going to have as many, if not more, today.
I heard it sold out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All three of these games over the weekend. You couldn't ask for a better weekend.
And that was before the Cubs won the World Series. Ian Happ, we mentioned yesterday, he had a miserable day. 4 strikeouts in the ball game. So when he stepped to the plate in the first inning, he didn't waste any time. He swung at the first pitch and got an RBI base hit single. And then in his next at bat, leading off the 4th, he had an opposite field home run. He said, you know what? Yesterday is yesterday's news.
Yeah. And how do you prevent yourself from striking out? Don't get the 2 strikes. Swing early in the count. That's what he's done. He's driven in both runs this afternoon for the Cubs. He's got power the opposite way. He's going to take this pitch from Nick Tepesh up and away and just go right with it. That had plenty of room to spare to left center field. Home run number 18 on the season for Happ. He didn't come up until a couple of months had passed.
And he now has 18 home runs. The Cubs have tied a franchise record with 5 players with at least 20 or more home runs. 4 of those 5 players are 25 years old or younger. Ian Happ's 22, and he's got 18 home runs. Matt Dermody is throwing in the bullpen. The Blue Jays sent Tim Meza back to the minor leagues and brought up T.J. House, who's here. So they still have 3 lefties in their bullpen. Danny Barnes came into the game with 2 outs in the 4th. Struck out John Jay to end that inning, and then struck out Schwarber starting the 5th. Got Bryant and Rizzo. So he's retired all 4 batters he's faced to this point. 3-2, and he walks.
You got a couple of lefties coming up now for the Cubs. Let's see how Gibby plays it. He likes to go match. It doesn't look like he's going to be moving.
Alex Avila is the catcher. He's left-handed. He's batting now. He has hit into a double play and singled. Hit a ground ball single through the right side. His last time up. So Barnes with that sinking fastball, he can get you a ground ball. Another left-hander on deck is Jason Hayward.
Avila has already hit into a double play today. Did that his first time up. Blue Jays have an interesting shift on. Remember, Darwin Barney is playing shortstop today. Well, that's him in the middle between Smoke and Refsnyder. So if there is a ground ball, it looks like Refsnyder is going to be the one in the middle of the diamond to turn it.
The reason you do that is because Refsnyder has made the majority of his plays as a second baseman. Barney has played second and short, so he's more comfortable moving around the infield. So you keep Refsnyder in that double play position. He will work with the pitcher and with Donaldson. and with Barney for that matter on a potential ground ball double play. One of the few breaking balls we see from Barnes missed inside.
If there's a ground ball to Smoke, now Josh Donaldson is working his way towards straightaway shortstop, and he will be the guy on the ground ball to the right side of the infield. He will be the one turning the double play.
Popped up. That's going to be out of play. Donaldson will give it a look, but well back into the seats. Bottom of the 6th inning. Remember, in the 7th inning, Don Cherry is going to lead the Take Me Out to the Ballpark sing here in the middle of the 7th, so don't go away. He's going to sing it from right next to us in the Cubs TV booth. Called strike. So Don Cherry here early in the day, he was on the field. He did an interview with our Rashman Danny, and in the 7th inning he will lead the ballpark in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Can't wait to see him. He'll be right next to us.
2-2 to Alex Avila. There goes the runner, cut on and grounded, and it's a fair ball. They stay out of the double play. Smoke stepped on the bag quickly. Avila's retired, but by starting the runner Happ, they stay out of the double play.
And that would have been a double play too, a 3-6-3 double play. Also a heads-up play by Lopez and Donaldson. That's Donaldson ready to take the throw from Smoke, but watch what happens when he just goes to first base. He's got to hustle over to third. There's nobody over there. Just in case he and Happ picked up on that, it would have been a foot race between Happ and Donaldson or Lopez to get to third.
So in this tie game with 1 out, you've got Hayward, then Baez, then the pitcher's spot. This is a key at bat for Barnes. Get a strikeout, a pop out, then you can walk Baez and force the hand of Joe Madden.
Yeah. See if he wants content in the game. I don't think he will. I think he'll go to his bench and pinch hits. He's got 4 players on his bench.
He's got the switch hitter Ben Zobrist, which is a real asset to have Zobrist on your bench to serve as a pinch hitter. Two right-handers, Albert Almora Jr. and Victor Caratini. They both had good days swinging the bat yesterday. So the Cubs have plenty of options if they get to the pitcher's spot. Hayward late on that fastball.
Stay up there. Throw that fastball again and get it up over his bat. He has that ability, and he's got good numbers against lefties because of his changeup, but I think you're playing right into Hayward's swing with a changeup.
Barney broke in behind the runner, and Barnes steps off. Once that shortstop takes him out of position, you have to give him time to regroup. One and two to Hayward. Got him. Oh my. That looked like it was all over the inside corner, and Barnes didn't get to call. Joe West didn't like it.
The Adams set up for that inside fastball. Froze him, thought he got him.
Foul, just wide of first.
That was a changeup. And again, I think that plays into Hayward's swing.
Maybe Rafi Lopez felt the same way.
Yeah, I think you can heat him up.
Danny Barnes has thrown 32 pitches so far. He came back with a fastball, and Rafi Lopez couldn't hold on to it. Foul tip out of the catcher's mitt. Struck him out. Well, Danny Barnes did a nice job. That one hard hit foul ball was a changeup. They had a meeting after that, and they went with the fastball and get the strikeout.
And it's 92, but it's up, and he can't catch up to it. He is tardy, late on that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Barnes picks up a big strikeout. Now, John Gibbons has a question to answer.
Well, this is interesting. Zobrist has already come out on deck, the switch hitters, so they will face Baez. So Joe Madden not masking his decision at all. He's already sent Zobrist up there. So the switch hitters on deck. So now Barnes will try to end the inning with Baez hitting. You know he's swinging.
Yeah, so you pull the string and throw him a changeup. If you're going to throw him a fastball, throw it in the same spot you just threw the one to Hayward. Up.
Yesterday in the 8th inning, Baez got a low fastball down and in from Tim Mason, hit a 2-run home run, almost out of the ballpark. Stay out of that zone. Baez 0 for 1 with a walk. Baez wants to drive this run in, so he's going to expand his zone. You have to make sure that you don't give in to him.
Pitch to your strengths, not his. His zone is his hot zone is down and in. If you're going to throw that fastball, go up and in or down and away with it.
There's that high target, and it gets it in there. Strike 2. Baez didn't think it was a strike, and now they agree to disagree.
That's a good way to put it. Now a little bit higher. Same pitch, but
you know he's
just a little
swinging.
bit higher.
I don't care where you throw it now. He's swinging at this pitch. High pitch, and he fouled it back. You can throw it just a little bit higher than that. Tell you what, there have been some great matchups in this series. This is game 2 of the 3-game set. Tomorrow, a couple of changeup artists, Marco Estrada, Kyle Hendricks. They both throw a lot of changeups, and they both can pitch. Different styles, but equally effective. The end of the bat, and that's going to sneak through off the glove of Barney as Baez delivers the base hit. That ball was hit right off the end of the bat. It was a changeup, and you can see him reflecting the fact that he had a lot of spin on that, and it bounced off the glove of Darwin Barney. So for the second straight day, Javier Baez gets a big hit.
Late in a ball game. Yeah. Fastball. He was hoping for the fastball to get up, but he threw him a changeup, and Baez stayed back just long enough to cue that ball off the end of the bat. Changeup, it's only 79 miles an hour. How that ball is cued and how it's spinning off the end of the bat. It actually went away from Barney, so Darwin couldn't knock it down. John Gibbons is out. He's going to go with the double switch and another pitching change for the Blue Jays.
So Rafi Lopez was the last hitter for the Blue Jays in the top of the inning. He will be taken out of the game in the double switch. Matt Dermody is in to pitch. He will be in the 7th spot in the order. Miguel Montero will hit in the pitcher's spot in the 9th. Cubs have taken the lead.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team, Honda. Proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Cubs have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Javier Baez with a squib RBI base hit knocks home Ian Happ, who drew the leadoff walk. And now Matt Dermody will come into the game to make his 7th appearance of the season.
A little hard throwing lefty for the Blue Jays, just up out of the minor leagues for the Jays. He's thrown 5 innings and he's walked 3 batters. He also has a strikeout. Fastball slider is what you're going to get with him. And double switch. Miguel Montero will take over behind the plate.
Montero's batting in the 9th spot. Ben Zobrist pinch hitting for the pitcher, batting right-handed. He's a switch hitter. Zobrist played in left field yesterday. Had a double, finished up 1 for 3 with a walk. He scored a run.
You don't have to burn 2 pinch hitters when you've got a guy who can switch hit like this. Blue Jays trying to turn him around. They take out Barnes, put in Dermody. Zobrist just goes over the other batter's box. Joe Maddon doesn't have to burn 2 players.
Baez will run from time to time. He's not a real base stealing threat, but he's got 5 stolen bases. Ground ball. Donaldson rights himself, fires in time. Zobrist is on him. Dermody gets Zobrist to end the inning, but the Cubs take the lead. When we come back, it'll be Ref Snyder, the 8th spot, and then the catcher, Miguel Montero.
Welcoming sign at Wrigley this morning. Aaron Sanchez throwing flat ground for the first time in weeks. Afterwards, Sanchez said, "This is probably the first time I felt the most normal in terms of everything put together." Aaron said previously this season he'd play catch, be tentative with his release point. Now, John Gibbons says if Sanchez is to return in September, it's likely in a bullpen role. Sanchez said, "I have enough time where I might be in some games at the right time," and added, quote, "We're right in the thick of things. You can get an arm that either bolsters the bullpen, bolsters the rotation, whatever it may be," Sanchez said, "I'm willing to do."
Absolutely, at this point, he just wants to get back and pitch and help the ball go down the stretch. This is the relief pitcher, Felix Pena. He's in his 5th stint with the Cubs this season. This will be his 11th appearance of the year.
He just called up yesterday before the ball game when they made a couple of moves, one of them putting John Lester on the disabled list. Pena 1-0. He's thrown 16 innings. He's got a good arm. He also had 6 saves, but an ERA close to 6 down in the minor leagues. He's going to face a pinch hitter.
Brian Goins will bat for Rob Refsnyder, the starting second baseman. He goes after the first pitch. Goins had a big 2-run single in the 8th inning in yesterday's game. That made it a 5-4 game, but it quickly was erased when Baez hit a 2-run home run bottom of the inning. So Pena against Goins. Refsnyder walked and grounded out. Ball on the strike.
Pena was a non-drafted free agent in 2009. 8 seasons in the Cubs organization before he made his major league debut last year for the Cubbies.
Goins chases that high fastball.
Free and easy. And he's got that free, easy windup that lulls you to sleep, and then he pumps it in there at 96.
Goins fouls it back. It'll be another 1-2 pitch. Blue Jays have 4 hits. The Cubs have 6 hits, and the Cubbies have the advantage at 3-2. Ryan Goins pinch hitting for the starter Rob Refsnyder at second base. Goins will more than likely move to shortstop. Breaking ball that gets away from the catcher Avila, and he will complete the strikeout with a strong throw to first.
Up to the bullpen now. And the Cubs relief pitching is pretty good. They're second in the National League in ERA, second in hits per 9 innings. They get the strikeout here on the breaking ball from Pena.
Montero being recognized by the fans, and he's getting more cheers than boos here this afternoon. He got a big hit for the Cubs in the World Series. Turned out to be the difference in the ballgame. He drove in the second run in the 10th inning, and the Indians would score a run in the bottom of the 10th. But they lost by a run.
Started yesterday's game, had a multi-hit game.
Couple of singles, 2 for 4 in the afternoon. He is batting in the 9th spot. Came in part of that double switch. It's going to be out of play. Boy, a very interesting defensive alignment for Montero. Of course, the Cubs know him better than anybody. But the infield, they're kind of pulled a little bit on the left side. Look where the second baseman Happ is, and then look at the big gap in straightaway center. If he hits one right at the 400-foot sign on the line, he can run for days.
Bill Madden played 4 outfielders against Joey Votto this week when the Reds were in town. This is almost like 4 outfielders where Ian Happ's playing the second baseman.
That was in the first inning.
He's not afraid to do it in the first inning against Votto. He was saying today, he goes, go ahead if you want to bunt. Go ahead. You get on base 50% of the time anyway. I'm going to play 4 outfielders and take away extra base hits from you.
1 out, top of the 7th inning. Breaking ball called, strike 3. 2 outs.
I told you about the Cubs relief pitching. They have the 2nd highest strikeouts per 9-inning rate in the National League. Payne just up from the minor leagues for the 5th time this year. He gets his 2nd one. He's 2 for 2 this afternoon.
2 outs. Jose Bautista has struck out twice. He's over 3. Good cut, but he found it straight back, 1-2. 95 miles an hour.
It's nice to go down to your minor leagues, right? Find an arm like this. He's 27 years old.
Well, the thing about it is he's been back and forth. This is the 5th time. So whenever he pitches a little bit, send him back down, let him get recharged. 1-2 to Bautista. The appeal down to first. No swing, according to Andy Fletcher. Fans, don't forget Don Cherry will sing "Take Me Out" to the ball game after this top half of the 7th.
That fastball got Bautista, Jose, a little bit late there. Blue Jays 1 swing away from tying it up.
Another 2-2 pitch. Blue Jays down by a run. Another foul. Into the 2nd deck.
Boy, hang one of those breaking balls again. We might be all tied up. ERA again was about 6 when he was in the minor leagues. He had 6 saves for the Iowa team. Pitching out of the bullpen for him. They're going to stay away from Jose with this one.
This is popped up. Another ball out of play. Bautista's putting up a fight. Top of the 7th. Blue Jays are down 3-2. 41,558 in attendance today. Another terrific crowd. Gonna run out of baseballs.
Well, this is a typical at bat, isn't it? See a lot of pitches. Who's going to give in? The pitcher or the batter?
Took something off and strikes out Bautista. Pena strikes out the side. Now let's go to Don Cherry here at Wrigley.
Guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former NHL coach.
All right,
and
everybody.
current analyst Don
We're at a
Cherry.
beautiful Wrigley Field. Lovely day. Let's sing Terry's favorite song. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever come back, for it's root for the best team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game. Thank you, Chicago, and go Hawks!
Presented by award-winning Honda Marine. Great days on the water begin with Honda.
Chicago River downtown in Chicago, and it's another great ball game here at Wrigley Field. 3-2 score as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Darwin Barney moves to second from short as Ryan Goins came into the ball game as a pinch hitter for Rob Refsnyder. He takes over defensively at shortstop. Top of the order, John Jay goes after the first pitch and lines out to Steve Pearson left field. Matt Dermody came into the ball game and got Ben Zobrist. So with Kyle Schwarber, the scheduled batter, being left-handed, Matt will go to his bench once again. This will be Albert Almora Jr. started in center field yesterday. He comes off the bench to swing the bat.
Well, you're also nursing a 1-run lead, so you got to put your best defensive team out there. This plays right into his hand. Left-handed pitcher, bring in Almora, and you're going to keep him in the ball game for better defense.
He is 10 for 29 this season as a pinch hitter. Madden's got a very versatile bench, and he's got good defenders on his bench, so he will match up here, the righty against the lefty Dermody. Schwarber finishes up 0 for 3, the starting left fielder.
Find the net bat for Almora. If the righty was in there, would probably let Schwarber hit and then bring in Almora as a defensive replacement.
Almora goes the other way. Bautista's not going to get there. Almora has his 11th pinch hit of the season.
Just didn't try to do too much with that ball. It was a fastball away from him, and he just poked at it and didn't hit it hard enough for Jose to come in and get it. Watch the effort. Slow down your swing. Just kind of just poke at it in right field. Bautista came hard charging, but it drops right in front of him for a single.
Almora has the highest batting average in the National League as a pinch hitter. Prior to that hit, Chris Bryant takes one in the dirt. Montero into the game as a defensive replacement, part of a defensive double switch in the 6th inning. Bryant has extended his streak of reaching base safely to 16. He's been hit by a pitch and he doubled.
Probably not running here. Let the big slugger swing away.
Off the inside edge. 3-0. Rizzo's on deck. Dermody, the third Blue Jay pitcher to work. Tepes started. Barnes came in through 2 good innings, and Dermody now.
Got a good arm, so use that. Try and get that ball and stay inside against Bryant. Chris likes to extend those arms.
Now Moore is running. Bryant hits it to third. Donaldson has to go to first, and for a second time the Cubs, by starting the runners, stay out of a double play. That happened last inning when they started Ian Happ on a ground ball to the first baseman. Stayed out of the double play. Happ would have come around to score.
You know, it all started with the pitch from Dermody. 3-0. Fell behind Chris Bryant through strike one, and then ties him up with this fastball. Gets it. You can see how he just can't extend through that ball. He just has to hit a weak ground ball to the third baseman. Good execution right there from the young left-hander.
Rizzo has gone hitless 0 for 2 with a walk. Rizzo's hitting a respectable .287 against lefty pitcher.
He'll cut his swing down now against a hard throwing lefty, and he's probably thinking line drive right over Gowen's head at shortstop. He came up with a big 2-run single in yesterday's ball game.
That's where he hit it, over the shortstop's head. That was in the 7th inning. Check that. That was in the 5th inning. Matt Dermody trying to pitch out of a jam here in the 7th. Rizzo loops it over the second baseman's head. He's going to pick up another RBI. It doesn't matter how hard you hit him. It matters when you hit him and where they go.
That's what good RBI men do. They hit the ball all over the place. Dermody makes another good pitch in my estimation. Good fastball right in on his hands. And remember, Rizzo's right on top of the plate. Matt crowds him with that fastball, but he gets enough of the wood. Hands hanging out over the plate. Look at that. Jams him up, but he gets it hard enough to get it away from Barney. What a try by Barney. Dead sprint out into the outfield, but he can't come up with it. Clutch hit. Clutch 2-out knock from Rizzo.
That gives him 13 RBIs in his last 6 games. Here's the switch hitter, Ian Happ. Happ has an RBI single, a solo home run. He's walked and scored. A perfect day at the plate after an imperfect 4 strikeouts yesterday afternoon. The golden sombrero. Goes after the first pitch. Bautista, looking up into the sun, uses his glove to shade his eyes, but he makes the catch. Rizzo with a big run. An RBI single with 2 outs, and the Cubs have expanded their lead to 4-2. By the powerful all-new 2017 Civic Type R.
Ian Happ blasts this ball to left field. This came leading off the 4th inning. It put the Cubs ahead 2-1. That's his 18th home run. He's had a couple of multi-home run games. That's his first one in this series. That's also our drive of the game. Tell you what, this guy's going to be a big home run hitter, I think, for the Cubs.
Just 22 years old.
He's a middle infielder.
Yeah, switch hitter. A perfect package for the Cubs. Here's Hector Rondon. This is a really interesting story. Rondon was the closer for the Cubs last year at the start of the season. Then they went out and got Aroldis Chapman from the Yankees, pushed him into a less significant role, but he's got a good arm.
Big arm. Look at the Ks per 9 innings. Second from the bottom. They're almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's also won 3 games out of the bullpen.
John Jay moves from center field to left field as Kyle Schwarber was lifted in favor of the pinch hitter Albert Almora Jr., who came up with a pinch single. Now he is in center field. Much better defense for the Cubs. So it'll be Donaldson, Smoke, and Pierce. Big part of the lineup for the Blue Jays. Jays down 4-2. Donaldson lifts a high pop up. Hayward in right. He's got a bead on it. Makes the catch. Donaldson's out on 1 pitch.
Now, he knows that Rondon's got a big fastball, so he was ready for the first one that he saw. Jason Hayward has won some Gold Gloves in the outfield, and this is a tough Sun field right now. He's got it. That's one thing I've noticed from these outfielders, that they give a lot of hand signs if they've got it or not, or who's going to take it, or waving off the other outfielders. He gave the thumbs up right there like he had it. Hauls it in.
They didn't have much help out there. Center fielder was a long way away.
Maybe the fans down the right field line.
I got it. Okay, you better have it. You're on your own out there, big boy. 1 out. Justin Smoke turns around and bats left-handed for the first time against the righty Rondon. Rondon was the closer early in the season. He had 18 saves. He was 18 for 23 before they acquired Chapman, and then he turned things over to the big lefty.
They were some shaky saves too. He had some base runners, it seemed like, every time he came on. 77 saves coming into this season, 18 holds. He's a power arm in the 8th inning for this team in front of Davis.
The fans are having a chant off right now.
The fans are into it just like the ball players are into it.
A little bit of a postseason atmosphere for sure. Let's go Cubbies. Let's go Blue Jays. Outside. 3-2. You know what you see in the stands? A lot of smiling faces. It's a great atmosphere.
Cub fans with Blue Jay fans, vice versa. Some friendly competition.
Swinging a drive to right. Hayward back on the warning track, makes the catch.
Hayward was positioned a couple steps deeper with Smoke at the plate, and that's how he was able to haul that ball in. Smoke hit a line drive to the warning track in right field. Has nothing to show for it.
Hang with him. You hit it good. Welcome to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. What a great atmosphere. Put it on your bucket list, folks. If you like to travel around baseball ballparks, this is a must-see. Steve Pearce batting with 2 outs. Pearce doubled in the second, has since struck out once swinging, once looking. Ground ball, fair ball, wicked hop for Bryant, and he airmails it into the seats. That ball really took a wicked hop to Bryant's right. He kind of panicked, reached back for a little extra, and airmailed it all the way into the seats.
Second throwing error of the afternoon for Chris Bryant. He's been awfully busy down there. Stayed right with this ball. And that's a fair ball. If it's an accurate throw, he's out, but he throws it over the head of Rizzo. He's got plenty of arm strength. There's the reach for it, and I think that threw him off balance.
It sure did, and it'll be scored an infield hit and an error on Bryant. That last little tricky hop, he had to extend for it, and that really disrupted his timing for the throw. So Pearce ends up at second. Error number 14 for Bryant, 2 in the ball game. Now Kevin Pillar, he's had a good trip to Wrigley, his first. Hit 2 doubles yesterday, has a single and scored a run today. He lined a shot off the glove of Bryant, who popped it in the air and then caught it. That was back in the second. That looked like another double for sure.
He then singled to right field and then popped up in his last at bat. That's a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. He was right on it.
Felix Pena struck out the side in the 7th. Rondon retired the first 2 here in the 8th. Way outside.
He's gotten a little bit amped up there after he got 2 strikes on Pillar. The crowd started cheering. They started standing, and he overthrew those last 2 pitches, and they weren't even close.
Gets a piece of it to stay alive. Rondon is 29 years old. He's from Venezuela. This is his 5th season with the Cubs. 2-2 pitch. Pillar singles through the left side. They're waving Pearce around third. Here's the throw from John Jay. It's cut off, and Pillar delivers another big hit here in Chicago. His second multi-hit game in a row.
He has just looked comfortable at the plate here, handling everything that the Cubs have to offer to him. Blue Jays make it tight again. Get that run back. Pillar with 2 strikes and 2 outs, singles into left field, aggressively scoring. Pearce from second base. Pearce could get as much of a lead as he can. He scores without a throw, and the Blue Jays make it interesting. They have pulled to within 1.
Kendrys Morales has been announced into the ballgame. With that, the pitching coach, Chris Abazio, will go to the mound to deliver a scouting report on Morales. Kendrys pinch hit in the 7th in yesterday's game and into a fielder's choice. Obviously with no DH in the interleague games in the National League ballpark, he's been relegated to a pinch hitting role. So he will bat for Darwin Barney. So Baggio wanting to make sure that Rondon understands how they want to pitch to Morales. Of course, he's got big power.
Yeah, one swing away from giving the Blue Jays the lead. Pitcher's spot is on deck for the Jays.
Dominic Leone is ready in the Blue Jays bullpen. Four-3 ball game. Ground ball, and that'll do it. So Morales grounds out to end the threat. Kevin Pillar delivers a 2-run RBI single. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 4-3 Cubs. Time now for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Want the Blue Jays anywhere? Download the Sportsnet app today for unrivaled news, analysis, and video highlights of Canada's team. Plus, never miss a single pitch with in-depth live game tracker. Available on iOS and Android devices. The Sportsnet app. Fun.
Ryan Goins has moved from shortstop to second. With that, Josh Donaldson moves from second to shortstop. Bautista has come in from the outfield. Now he's going to play up the middle. He is in the third base position, but on this alignment with Alex Avila hitting. And there's Ezekiel Carrera, who is taken over for the pinch hitter Kendrys Morales. He moves into right field defensively. So Alex Avila, the catcher, will lead things off. He's hitting in the 6th spot. Dermody gave up a run on 2 hits last inning. Anthony Rizzo delivering the RBI single.
Gets a couple of lefties here to open the 8th inning. We had that shot of Dominic Leone warming up. So Dermody will probably face the lefties. Leone will face Baez. 3 scheduled batters this inning.
So now they're going to switch and flip-flop Bautista and Donaldson with 2 strikes. So Bautista will play it straight away shortstop. Donaldson is up the middle. And Goins is in the outfield in shallow right.
You got all that? I'll tell you what, National League, you use the whole roster.
You really
do. Time.
Yeah, you do all the time, man. That's why you have to have versatile players who can play infield, they can play outfield.
And be ready to play.
Yeah.
In the American League with the DH, if you're a bench player, probably not going to get in the game.
And you have to keep yourself sharp by putting in the extra work. Internationally, you do your regular prep thinking, okay, I'll probably pinch hit, pinch run, do something and get in the game.
You got to think along with the manager and be ready. Good looking pitch.
A ball and 2 strikes. Leadoff man here in the bottom of the 8th. Another 1-run game. Avila fights it off. Alex Avila against Matt Dermody.
It was the 8th inning yesterday. The Blue Jays had come back to make it a 1-run game. And the Cubs put it out of reach with a couple of runs in the 8th inning. How to get this first guy.
Avila hanging tough. Alex Avila is in his 9th big league season. And you would think he might be a little bit older, but he's 30 years old. He started with the Tigers, came out to big leagues in 2009. He spent 8 seasons with the Tigers in 2 different stints. 2016 he played right here in Chicago with the White Sox. And then he had the distinction of being traded by his father. Al Avila is the GM of the Tigers, and I wonder what that conversation was like. Son, come and talk to me. What's up, Dad? Do something wrong with the kids? No, I've traded you to the Cubs.
In the way the Tigers have been playing this year, probably said thank you.
Yeah.
Get to jump right into a pennant race.
Grandma probably wasn't happy, though. The kids moved away. But Alex has had some big years. He had an 82 RBI season in 2011. He was an all-star and MVP. Finished 12th in the MVP voting and won the Silver Slugger Award for being the best offensive catcher in the American League. This time he strikes out after a lengthy battle against Matt Dermody. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Blue Jays have a couple of lefties who can get you out. Tim Mesa has been sent down. He was the guy who pitched in the 8th inning yesterday. He has a good slider. Matt Dermody's got to be pitching some big innings for the Blue Jays, the way the bullpen is. That is a big out.
Jason Hayward now. Hayward is 1 for 3. He struck out last time up against Danny Barnes. Swing and a miss.
Why change? Throw him another one. Just throw it off the plate.
Hard slider. Dermody has turned his season around dramatically. He had a rough first appearance with the Blue Jays this season. He gave up 3 home runs in an inning to the Orioles. But he's pitching with much more confidence. You can see it in his pitches. Another good slider. Bottom of the 8th inning in a 1-run game, and that's what you're going to get if you play the Cubs. That's Wade Davis. Davis has been perfect. Picked up his 25th save yesterday. Fly ball. Carrera is there, and Hayward is retired. Well, you're right about the wind. Different day. Wind has been blowing in all afternoon, and the ball got up there and just died.
His fastball from Dermody got in just a little bit. He's got enough fastball to get in on the righties. He just couldn't get the extension he needed. And then the wind knocked it down.
It's going to be another double switch as John Gibbons has come out to talk with Joe West. He's going to make a pitching change, and with that, the only person left is Nori Aoki. So when you look at the situation, Dermody is the scheduled hitter to lead off the ninth. Aoki's coming into the game, and he will go into right field. I would think Carrera is coming out of the game. Carrera just came into the game. Leon is coming in to pitch. So Leon will come in to pitch with 2 outs. A lot of moving parts here in the bottom of the 8th inning as John Gibbons has made a pitching change, and with that he's made a double switch again. So the outfielder's not sure who Aoki is coming in for. Carrera says me, him, Pierce, no, me. Okay, I'm out of the game. So Carrera, who came into the game as a defensive replacement, now is replaced by the defensive replacement, Nori Aoki. But what they do is they gain a spot in the lineup, as Dermody was scheduled to lead off the top of the 9th, and now it will be Aoki who comes into that spot, and the pitcher goes in to the 6th spot in the order.
And Dominic Leone comes into the ball game, trying to finish this one off. There's Aoki in right field. Came in the game yesterday as part of a double switch.
So a lot of moving parts here as Leone delivers a first pitch strike to Baez. Javi Baez had a RBI single in the 6th off Danny Barnes. Up and in. That'll get your attention.
Nothing wrong with that. He's got a good arm, and he's been using it. You want to go upstairs with that one and just back him off the plate a little bit. Don't let him get too comfortable in there.
Mighty swing by Baez. He's behind 1-2. Four-3 ball game. The Cubs have the lead. Bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Wade Davis warming up for the Cubs. He is ready. Swings it one of about helmet high and strikes out. So Leon comes in and closes out the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Aoki, Goins, and Montero, 3 lefty bats to face Wade Davis in his 4-3 ball game. Wade Davis has set a single-season franchise record with his 25th straight save. That happened yesterday afternoon. He's converted his last 30 saves if you go back to last September when he was with the Royals.
He's got so many ways to get you out. He's got a great fastball. He can also cut that fastball with a good breaking ball. Look, he doesn't walk anybody, just 22 this season in 41 1/3 innings, and he can punch you out with 57 times like he has done. Big and strong. Was a former starter when he was with Tampa Bay, transitioned into the bullpen when he was in Kansas City, became an all-star, and now he's a big-time closer for the Cubs.
Yeah, they were 3 left-handed hitters. Aoki, who came in as a defensive replacement, will lead things off. Then Ryan Goins, who pinch hit in the 7th, and Miguel Montero, who entered the game in the 6th. Aoki goes after the first pitch. Aoki faced Davis in the 9th inning yesterday, leading things off, and grounded back to the pitcher.
What was that? Avila's going to go out there and say, hey, what was that? Because I had no chance to try and catch it. Aoki couldn't hit it. Avila couldn't catch it. And the umpire has to duck out of the way.
He threw him a cutter. Looked like he was expecting more of a breaking ball. He better go talk it over. And now they still can't get together. Tough to see right now as the shadows of the upper deck creeping across home plate. Aoki fights it off. There you can see the shadow of the upper deck here at Wrigley creeping across home plate as that sun is going down to the west. Still more confusion between Davis and Avila. And it doesn't appear to be pitch related as much as sign
related. That's what it looks like to me. And if I put down 1, that means a fastball.
There's that hard breaking ball. 1-2 now to Aoki. Good curveball.
Okie had a long at bat last night, or yesterday afternoon, as the leadoff batter in the 9th inning against Davis.
Puts it in play. Baez at short. Plenty of time. One away.
What an arm for the shortstop. Joe Madden was saying he can make those sensational plays like he did in the 9th inning yesterday, and then get careless at times like he did earlier today, where he bounced a routine ground ball over first base. What a talent.
He's committed 14 errors, and I think he's bored with the routine plays. He's just got so much talent. He wants to be challenged all the time on defense, and sometimes he just loses his focus. But he is a good player. So Ryan Goins, he struck out as a pinch hitter. That was against Felix Pena in the 7th.
Blue Jays looking for a bloop and a blast right here. Down by a run in the 9th inning. You got some home run power on deck for the Jays in Montero.
Montero, then Bautista, and if they can stretch it out, they'd love to get to Donaldson. Ground ball. Bryant misses it. Baez is behind him, and look at the arm strength. Oh man! Bryant dove for it. We talk about he's challenged by the tough plays, and he responds again.
It was in the 9th inning with 1 out yesterday where he made a brilliant play to get the 2nd out. That was against Bautista when he dove to his right to get the out. This time he's going to play the carom off the glove of Bryant. Not giving up on this play. Firing across the diamond and getting going. My, oh my.
Folks, you don't understand how difficult this is. He was going to his right, reaches back to his left, and got the ball in his throwing hand. Lightning quick. Watch how quickly he gets that ball in his hand and gets the throw on its way to first. What a play.
That's a carbon copy of what happened in yesterday's ball game.
9th inning with 1 out. Bautista hit a ball, looked like it was going to be a base hit to left field. He made a similar play yesterday. High fly ball, and that's going to do it. Almora waits. That's the ball game. Wade Davis, 1-2-3 in the 9th. He got some help on a spectacular defensive play by the shortstop, Javi Baez. And the Cubs have taken the first 2 games in this 3-game series.
Yeah, if you want to get back to the World Series like the Cubs do, pitching and defense are going to play a big part of it. They got the pitching this afternoon. They got the defense in the 9th inning from Javi Baez, and they got just enough hitting to win another 1-run ball game. The Cubs look like they're ready to take off. Everything going their way this afternoon.
With that save, that's 26 in a row for Wade Davis. That ties Ryan Dempster for the franchise record. The Cubs win it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Here's Jamie and Greg.